Hey, thanks. I'm going to talk about some stuff that's really personal and important to me. So I kind of wanted to start by giving you a little background on who I am as a person and kind of where I came from. So we're going to start with this photo of mini Benji. And I think my dad shot this. And, it's pretty amazing to think that it wasn't that long ago in human history where no one would ever have a photo of themselves in the past. It just didn't exist. And the upside is I get to share it with you, and we get to have all these amazing photos of ourselves and see ourselves at different points. The downside is when I look at this, I feel like I peaked at 6. So I was super lucky. I am super lucky. I have an amazing father, and he is just really proactive about being outside. I grew up going to national parks and backpacking and camping and traveling the world at any given little window of time that we could get outside. We were, and I think that's something that when you're a kid you don't really understand the value of. I kind of lost track of it when I moved out on my own. I moved to an urban environment. I got really immersed in kind of technology. I was working in San Francisco, and I got more and more interested in film and things that are still really important to me, but I kind of stopped going outside other than just to get around. And that kind of brought me down. It made me kind of unhappy without really realizing I lost that profound connection until I met my wife. And this is my mini wife. She grew up in the wild up in Canada, and she had this really deep connection to the natural world that was, she really kind of re-inspired me. We fell in love, and here she is now. We got married, and we spent a lot of time together while we were first dating and everything, going out into the wild. And we did a lot of motorcycle riding. We did a lot of motorbike camping. That's something we really enjoy. We like swimming in lakes and just being outside and doing fun stuff. And I kind of reconnected with that and how important it was to me as a person. So now we live in Portland. We have 3 kids, and they're amazing. And I'm trying to pass on to my kids, our kids, that love of the outdoors and adventure that my dad passed on to me. And they're wild children. They love it. And, together in the last few years, we started a company called Polar Outdoor Stuff that's based out of here in Portland. So, thanks. So today, I'm here to say that modern technology is a tool that can help us reconnect with the natural world, something that might feel paradoxical at first. Now, my wife was recently taking our kids to school, and she had this really interesting experience where these little kids, maybe 6 or 7, were talking about their parents and talking about their mom, and how she wouldn't listen to them when she was on her phone. And the one kid said to the other, well, that's because the phone froze her. She's frozen. And that's like one of those profound, insights that only a child could have, and you just picture in their mind actually believing that this little magic thing in their hand has frozen them and incapacitated them and turned them into like a zombie was so amazing to me, So we made a joke out of it, and I think we've all been there. I'm certainly guilty of it. It's just being in some weird public place and just being like frozen, looking at your phone while you watch a video. And it's something really new, It's something that didn't exist just a few years ago. And even with the internet, that wasn't an issue until really smartphones. So kind of how did we end up at this point where moms are getting frozen by their phones? I put together this really simple slide that describes all of human evolution. We kind of started as cavemen, and we're going to end up as robots as far as I can tell. But we're in the middle somewhere right now, and we still have a chance to kind of change the course of the future. So the point here is really, we started off in human society, we were really connected to the natural world, just intrinsically. We worked outside, we lived outside, we grew our food, we were just surviving. And then we developed tools like the plow, really early on that allowed us to change our lives and really better our lives in a lot of ways. But as time, went on, in kind of fast forwarding to modern day, technology and the culture of technology has really replaced the culture of outdoors in how we spend our daily lives for most of us in our culture. We don't spend our lives outside. We view it as a destination. And technology we are immersed in. We spend our days in front of a computer, frozen by our phones. And that's something that really, in this grand scope of human history, is incredibly recent. And I think, we tend to have a technological development in society that for a while is like a big deal to talk about. And then after a certain period of time, it becomes what I call transparent. And a good example of this for me is plumbing. We all rely on plumbing. It's second nature. We wake up, we turn on the faucet, clean water comes out. It's incredible. If you can think back to a time when there was no plumbing and then plumbing came along, it must have been like smartphones now where people were just like, this is insane. I turn this stupid little thing and here comes water after millions of years of struggling to transport water and to find water. So that's what I call transparent dependency. And I think the thing that's happened is that those kind of changes where some technology became a transparent dependency, they took a long time. And that period of time it's taken is diminishing every time there's something new with modern tech. So, the plow took however long to really become a standard device. Then going forward, even a television, it wasn't just a year or two that televisions took over our culture. It took decades. And whereas with smartphones, for the first time, and a lot of the new technology that's coming out and going forward, robotics, that's happening in very few short years. It's changing the way that we act as people and the way we interact as humans in a profound way. So I was trying to think, what's the most simple thing that I could think of that we are transparently dependent on? And I settled on water, because water is the foundation of life. We're made of water. We have to drink water to survive. It's in everything. I mean, y'all know about water. So on the other hand, this is a beautiful photo of a calm ocean. But if you don't respect water and you use it wrong, it'll kill you without doing anything. If you're a caveman and you were probably trying to get away from the dinosaurs, the dinosaurs are super mean. We gotta go. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna swim until I get to a place with no dinosaurs. That's my goal. And you take off swimming and you swim yourself to death every time. That's true today as it was for the caveman. Everybody that sets off swimming away towards the horizon is gonna die, and the ocean doesn't have to do anything. You just swim. You swim and swim until you die. So I think I put together this little chart about the pros and cons of water. So we all know it makes life possible. You can drown. Drinking water while it's hot and you're thirsty is the best thing ever. A flood will destroy everything you love. Swimming in a river at dusk is one of my all-time favorite experiences, but a tsunami, not so much. Surfing is one of the most beautiful natural sports in my mind. It's incredible to watch someone ride a wave created by nature, but if that wave gets too big, you're toast. In that same way, we can talk about technology. Here's some pros and cons of technology. The internet, and I'm speaking kind of here of modern technology, the internet really democratized all information. And I think it's important to recognize that happened so recently that the effect of that hasn't really been seen. That's one of the most incredible things that's happened in a long time, I think. But here we have moms frozen by their phones, incapacitated. The basic quality of life and health has increased radically for most humans, but we run around completely overwhelmed with communication. And the ability to see and understand other places, cultures, people, a window into the world is, just incredible and opens up so many avenues. But we also have lost some kind of deep human connection with each other along the way. So there's a lot. We could go on and on with these. There's a lot. But my point is, technology is a tool. It's not water. It is in a sense, but it's something that we developed as humans to make our lives better. And becoming frozen by your phone and your daughter not being able to communicate with you because you're incapacitated to that degree is as dumb as swimming out into the ocean until you drowned. You're just doing it wrong. You have this... So, you're not necessarily going to die being frozen physically, a physical death, but it is a form of psychic death, I think, that we can all recognize. There's a loss to our culture and our humanity there. But what I'm kind of driving at is that ultimately, there's a huge shift happening right now. The generation gap is larger than ever in human history because of the internet. Most of the people in the room remember life before the internet, but we're the last ones that will. And so that technology that we are talking about will be taken for granted by my daughters to such a degree that we can't even really comprehend it yet. But what is happening that I find interesting is the internet is really, for me, when I started using the internet, and I think a lot of us still to this day, if we're using it on a desktop or a laptop, and sort of the original sense of it, we were using it to find information, to communicate. And it was more of a data-driven process. It was learning, it was passing on information. And that's what's changing. And I think social and smartphones and the things that are coming along now and probably in the future, robotic augmentation and things that, futurists are really interested in is the way people are using technology and the apps and all of the development in that space is focused primarily on culture and connection. So here's an example of Billy, and he's doing it wrong. This is the old school way to use technology. He's on his phone. He sees his friend Gary. Gary's hiking in Yosemite. He has all these amazing photos. He can't believe it. He trusts Gary. Gary's a friend, but he also thinks he's kind of dumb. He can't believe he's ruling so hard. So he's kind of jealous, develops this weird envy thing. He's also like, just fidgeting. He keeps looking at random photos. He doesn't really do anything. He gets bored. He goes to bed. That's the end of that. Here's a new way that I see young people using technology. Billy's on the phone. He sees his friend Gary in Yosemite. He thinks that's amazing. I can't believe Gary's ruling so hard. But then he thinks, if Gary can do that, so can I. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to show him. And I think that there's something about your friend doing something or your loved one out in the world or someone you trust that makes it authentic in a way that can't be replicated, that's different than if you saw it on a travel website or something like that. So he saves his money, he buys his ticket, he climbs Half Dome twice as fast, his photos are better, he's psyched. He also ends up with this side effect of a really weird sense of deep connection to nature, and he ends up then becoming more involved. He starts researching online, finding all this stuff about Yosemite. He's headed to Yosemite, and boom, his life has meaning. So I think we live in Portland, a lot of us, I do. We see that there's this explosion of interest in Portland. So many young people are moving here. It's really amazing. Part of that to me is, let me ask you, how many people that are moving to Portland right now first learned about it and the culture and were drawn to it because of technology or via technology? They saw amazing stuff. They saw their friend go to Portland for the weekend and post all these amazing photos of all the amazing food he was eating and all the cool people he was meeting. And it was like, I want to do that. I want to be a part of that. I'm looking for something somewhere that values a balance in life that is the opposite of being frozen. I'm still a forward-thinking person, but I value the outdoors and I value other aspects of life, and I want to have a mix of everything. So I tried to think, what's the opposite of being frozen? And we haven't figured out how to teleport yet. It's probably coming soon. But right now, we've got telephonic teleportation, which is a super stupid way to say, use your phone as a window to the world that you're not just going to look through, but you're going to step through. So you're going to look at something, you're going to find out about it, you make a choice to then take action in the real world and go do something or meet someone or have an experience that actually makes your life better. That's the choice that we all have to make right now. Are we going to be frozen? Or are we going to do telephonic transportation? There are no other choices, that's it. So, so kind of, my final thought is really the experience of being in the natural world and watching the sunset at the coast or standing around a campfire in the mountains is unchanged. And it's as important to us now as it was for a caveman. It feeds something in us that can't be fed any other way. That doesn't mean that we have to be Luddites and turn against technology, but let's make the choice to use it in a way that enhances our lives. Because, excuse me, while we were once ruled by the natural world, technology changed that, and now we all have to decide if we're going to let technology rule us. Thank you.